of them though. And it'll get us more crafting reagents anyway. The most important part. Now I can order my my pets to attack different enemies, but I let them do what they want. I know, I just figure it's better that way. Oh Christ. 0, 7, 9, and 6. I noticed my which way thing was actually off. So, now it ain't. Let's get rid of this. Should have done that along, you know, a bit earlier. But at least it's done now. Come on, die. Thank you. Stored skull fetish of zeal. I'll take it to sell it. Can't go that way, but here is here. Maybe leading to the lab. That looks important. What's over here? Okay, other side of the place. Oh, like other side of the blockade over there. So let's just poke our head in over here. I'm curious. Like, what's here? I don't know. Whatever way I looked, I thought this place was actually more important than it actually was. Disappointing. I really do like that, you know, electrical shock thing. Very, very useful. Very, very useful. Ooh, and more Aether Crystal. Brilliant. Maybe at one stage we'll actually get to use those. Then again, I could go and have a chat with the blacksmith. See if I can get him to make me something nice. Okay, we'll toss on this impervious ribbon. And we have 17 scrap now. So that's good. I will need that for him to make stuff for me as well. I'm actually not sure if I have the components for him to make me the good thing I wanted. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Just keep swinging, keep swinging. Studded helmet of trauma. I can't carry it. Good. I was only going to take it to sell it. I like the helm I have. Let's get rid of this so they don't start stumbling in on anymore. Christ. Wait. Tree. Nice. And this does last a fair bit. 30 seconds? The 30 seconds actually feels longer than I thought. Maybe this is a very slow 30 seconds. And yes, the buffing allies thing does affect your pets. It just affects more than just your pets. It affects other players if you're doing a co-op thing. Okay, let's get rid of you. Okay, judging from those fours, I think I'm approaching the lab. And especially with the portal up here declared Warden's Lab. I think that's, you know, I think that might be the lab. Okay, here's this. And then we go. A laboratory, the Warden must be nearby. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think Creed got very far. Bristly fur. Let us read. It's nice of him to let him keep writing equipment. Krieg has gotten the better of me, and I'm presently at his mercy beneath his manor. Seeing no other way to progress in my investigation, I forced my way into the locked portion of the manor, and found myself in a veritable house of horrors. The unusual sorcery in the locks should have been my first clue that I was dealing with something more extraordinary than some rogue occultist. My search led me to a room filled with the rotting bodies of men and women subjected to brutal torture or horrible experimentation, or perhaps some mix of the two. Behind the manor I found a door leading down into the earth beneath the estate, where I found myself quickly lost in an implausibly large dungeon. It wasn't long before I sensed things moving in the darkness all around me, and they quickly closed in, surrounding me. As I prepared to fight for all his worth, Krieg's massive form emerged from the shadows, his face expressionless. He spoke coolly, as though nothing at all was out of the ordinary, and invited me to tour his facility. While I had no doubt that something unpleasant was planned for me, it at least delayed my confrontation with the living horrors gathering in the dark. We'll grab this. I've lingered in this dank cell for one long unsettling day and a night of terrors. Krieg allowed me to witness the process by which they are preserving the human bodies for what he calls the glorious dawn. I've gotten glimmerings of another consciousness within Krieg, which is joined with, I've gotten glimmerings of another consciousness within Krieg, which is joined with, or perhaps in control of him. From the way he spoke, it is clear that this is only some small part of a much greater conspiracy. It is clear that this is only some small part of some greater conspiracy, and I suspect many other persons in key positions have been possessed by beings akin to that which now inhabits Krieg. I was arrogant in my initial handling of Krieg, and seriously misjudged the power and scale of the threat we are faced with. Fortunately, Unfortunately, Krieg's own arrogance has likewise misled him to misjudge the resourcefulness of his prisoner. He has invited me to ascend beyond humanity by pledging myself to his cause, or to join his inventory of embalmed corpses. I've been left to contemplate this decision, but this cell, even magically warded, cannot hold the likes of me, and no intention of being here when Krieg returns for my answer. So we got out that way. Good. Maybe we'll run into each other. Then again, he probably died in the glorious dawn. And here's Gerald's notes. Someone's notes. Damn. There's been... Ooh, and see, you can see the electricity reflected on that. There's been certain people claiming that the Witcher series... just seeing the name here made me think of Geralt. It's just the G name, basically. My mispronunciation of it. It's Getrans. Made me think of it, Witcher series for a moment. People have been asserting that the Witcher series is actually... Wow. I want to say it outright, but I'm also paranoid. Could they claim it's liable? Okay, I'll phrase it this way. Apparently the author himself has admitted that he's been inspired by another novel series, the Elric series. I can't remember for sure, I didn't read it myself. Eldrick? I can't say. But some are arguing he was too inspired by it. There's certain heavy similarities between the main guy from that book and Geralt. Both went under the name White Wolf, dual swords, there's magic involved in them, as in some manner. I can't remember the exact way people were phrasing it. Both albino. Well, they certainly do grow apart. He becomes emperor, rides dragons. Geralt has a horse and is an outcast. You know, they do grow apart. Apparently originally there was a bit heavy similarities. And then the conjoining of spheres thing, or conjunction of spheres, that was in both series, though in the Elric thing it was conjunction of a million spheres or something. Part of me wonders though, I know, I just was wondering, was that used in anything else? But yeah, some people were quite angry over it. Razor Fist, he was actually, I've been seeing screenshots floating around of him asserting that that CD Projekt Red plagiarized Eldrick because they made Witcher games. And if I remember the phrasing, he basically implied they stole their entire plot from those books, which doesn't seem to make any logical sense, considering yes, there was those influence points early on, but it wouldn't make sense for the entire plot to be stolen if those were the iffy points, you know? He kind of just seems to have gotten so annoyed about that, he's kind of lost his shit, you know? And I can understand being annoyed about it. I'm actually kind of disappointed myself. It just kind of takes away from it a bit, you know? But look into it yourself. All I'm going off of is people's claiming, and people claim a lot of things. Hopefully, it's all above board, you know? But that's what I hope. But that's what people are claiming. At some stage, I'm sure I'll get around to reading through those books myself. But I plan on reading through a lot of books myself. So I've no idea when I'll get through it. So all I have to rely on is other people's claims, which isn't the best way of doing things. Like, for example, I remember seeing someone's claim that, oh, so-and-so didn't say a guy getting raped was horrible, even though someone was like seemingly dismissive towards it. Someone said, oh, you know, A up there, mate, and made reference to them, that happening to them, and then saying, oh, I didn't, you know, blah blah blah, not to mean that what happened to you wasn't horrible. But apparently the person didn't say it was horrible at all. So, you know, people can have the thing staring right at them, but still give a forward thing. I try my best not to do that. Sometimes I get flavorful with my language. Like an example of it when I was in my videos was I was talking about Jesse Cox. While he has apologized for it, I'll use this as an example nonetheless. He was insulting Baron Trump, apparently asserting that looking bored. He said he was looking smug. I've seen one screenshot of the kid looking smug, but that just might have been the way his face went. Like, you know, if you take a screenshot of a person, they can look weird. Like Hillary looked like she was pretending to be a velociraptor getting out of a car at one stage. Somehow I doubt she was intending to look like a velociraptor. Maybe the kid didn't intend to look smug, you know, or actually be smug. Also looking bored or something else apparently meant he was raised poorly. Jesse was clearly just lashing out at a 10-year-old boy because he was angry at his father. Not Jesse Cox's father, but at Donald Trump. In my colourful phrasing of that, I was saying that he was trying to make himself to be a big man by taking on the terrible 10-year-old. You know, a terrible, fearsome 10-year-old. Yeah. That was me being colourfully phrasing my thing there. Which is inaccurate, you know, which could, you know, skew things, you know. Sometimes I do get sometimes I do call-free phrase things, but I try and, you know, give you as accurate thing as possible. It depends on how worked up I am, basically. I get a little colourful with my language and forget to clarify it for you. So, yeah. But I have noticed sometimes people are just, like, things right in front of them, but they don't acknowledge it. So maybe that's the same in the Witcher book's case. Maybe they were wrong about, you know, there being that overlap. Maybe it's not there at all. And part of me was just thinking of this one alternative scenario, but I doubt that's the case of how this is going to go through. Of how the Witcher book happened, you know, what happened with the Witcher books. Like, I'm working on my own thing here, and it's taking its time. It's probably going to be 10 years, and I'm still, you know, thinking things through. I know one novel series, the Stormlight Archives, took 10 years to write. Um, so people were going off of when the series came out to determine who plagiarized who. So, Witcher could have come out second, but was actually the first one being in production. Still doesn't mean it didn't. It did. Whatever happened, it didn't happen. But it was just a thought that flitted across my mind, so I said it. But yeah, just that was racking through my head. So I was just thinking, I'll bring it up. I didn't mean to stand still for this long, and not read this and whatnot. But I did. But yeah, just saying what I was about the Witcher thing, that doesn't mean I'm not going to play the games or read the books. I'm just a little disappointed if that is indeed true. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's true, and I want anyone who gives a shit to look into it yourself. Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being lied to, be it intentionally or otherwise. Maybe the people are mistaken, or maybe they're not lying, but merely mistaken. It's certainly possible. So I advise you to look into it yourself and make up your own minds. Whenever I say anything like this, I always want you to do that. Don't let me dictate things to you. Do it yourself. Look things up. Look things up yourself. Do that. I've let too many people say like, oh, this is the true course. This is the course of events, and went along with it too much. I'm being misled too much to ever want people to do that to someone else, unintentionally. I wouldn't do it to you intentionally, but basically, if you give a shit, look up about something I'm saying, well, be sure to look it up. Be it talking about this or talking about the Romans. I've brought up various historical things before, and I would want you to look it up yourself, just to make sure I'm not flubbing it up, So, I think I said all I wanted to say there. There's claims going around. I don't know if the claims are true. And Razorfist was kind of freaking out about it. He really hates the Witcher series because of that, those claims. And he's seemingly taking them a bit far. Oh, if the claims are true, the claims are true. But the blame will, as far as I'm concerned, the blame would lie with the original author, not people making derivative works off of him, off of his work, wouldn't it? And part of me would also say, calling CD Projekt Red plagiarists, would not be slanderous, considering they were simply making, a video game of the Witcher stuff. The other one, I have no fucking clue. I hope it's not true. I have no idea though. I have to go read an entire book series of who fucking knows how long to go find out. Well, actually, I probably don't need to read the entire series, but I need to read a bit of it. Here, let's look it up. Eldrick book. No, not Wood. Book series. Maybe it's not Eldrick, maybe it's Elric. Just remove the D. Yes, Elric. Or is it? Now I'm being referred to Dune. This website here. They seem to acknowledge it exists. It's either been referred to Dune or... No, not that. Like the Ender the Ender stuff. Or Full Metal Alchemist. Novel. Misspelled series. Fat fingered it, but whatever.